The ongoing civil war in Sudan has unleashed a torrent of suffering upon its people. Among the most harrowing atrocities are the widespread and systematic acts of sexual violence perpetrated against women and girls. These heinous crimes are not merely a consequence of conflict, they are deliberate tactics of war, employed to terrorize, displace, and demoralize communities. Behind the headlines of battle lie countless stories of unimaginable brutality, echoing the cries of those whose lives have been shattered by these horrific acts. The conflict in Sudan, which erupted in late 2023, has become a breeding ground for impunity. Armed groups, driven by power struggles and ethnic tensions, operate with little regard for human life or dignity. In this chaotic environment, women and girls become easy targets, their bodies turned into battlegrounds. The stories emerging from Sudan paint a grim picture of a society grappling with the devastating consequences of unchecked violence, where fear and trauma have become pervasive. While the conflict in Sudan is multifaceted, with multiple armed groups vying for control, the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, have emerged as the primary perpetrators of sexual violence. This notorious militia, with a history of human rights abuses, has unleashed a reign of terror, particularly targeting women and girls in areas under their control. Reports from human rights organizations and eyewitness accounts reveal a chilling pattern of gang rapes, abductions, and sexual enslavement carried out by RSF fighters. The Sudanese Armed Forces, or SAF, while often portrayed as opposing the RSF, have also been implicated in acts of sexual violence. Though the scale and frequency of these crimes may differ, the impact on survivors remains equally devastating. The prevalence of sexual violence by both sides of the conflict underscores the urgent need for accountability and an end to the culture of impunity that allows these atrocities to persist. The physical and psychological wounds inflicted by sexual violence run deep, often leaving survivors with lifelong trauma. Many victims bear the scars of physical injury, forced pregnancies, and sexually transmitted infections. The psychological toll is equally severe, leading to depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and social stigma. In many cases, survivors are ostracized by their communities, further compounding their suffering. The fear of stigma and retribution often prevents survivors from coming forward to report these crimes, hindering access to justice and essential medical care. The breakdown of healthcare systems in conflict zones exacerbates this challenge, leaving many survivors without access to vital services such as emergency contraception, HIV prevention medication, and psychosocial support. The international community cannot stand idly by as these atrocities continue. Urgent action is needed to address the crisis of sexual violence in Sudan and bring perpetrators to justice. The United Nations and regional actors must prioritize the protection of civilians, particularly women and girls, in conflict zones. This includes deploying peacekeeping forces with robust mandates to prevent and respond to sexual violence. Furthermore, it is crucial to support local organizations working tirelessly to provide medical care, psychosocial support, and legal aid to survivors. These organizations are on the front lines of this crisis, providing essential services and advocating for justice. The international community must also work to end the culture of impunity by investigating and prosecuting those responsible for these crimes, regardless of rank or affiliation. Only through a concerted effort to ensure justice, accountability, and protection can we hope to break the cycle of violence and provide a path to healing for the countless victims of this brutal conflict.